Hello. I am the Linux Mensch. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Linux Mint. So, let's get to it. So I've booted on to the live version of Linux Mint. And in my last video, I showed you how to play with it and have a tour of it. And I showed you could click this on to install it, but I didn't install it. And of course, I showed you how if you power off, after playing with it, if you decide you don't want it or you're not sure, you could power off, shut down. I'm not going to shut down now, but you could shut down, pull out the thumb drive, and your Windows computer would be just the way it was. And you can turn your computer back on, pull out the thumb drive, turn your computer back on, and boot back into your Windows. But if you decide you want to install it, you could do this. Let's click this on, and it's going to bring you to this screen. So let's just move this over a bit. Can I do that? Good. So my face is not in the way. And it's automatically went to English. So you can pick your other language if you have another language. And I'm going to continue. I'm going to click on continue. Let's see if we have English Canada. Oh, we have French Canada. And I'm going to click on English Canada. Oops. Yes, I'm going to click on this one, English Canada. So now I've been joined by my helper. I don't know if you can see her. She's on the desk here. So I'm going to click on French Canada and English Canada. I'm going to hit continue. That's just the one I always use. You could just leave it on English the way it was when it first loaded up. And install media codecs. Yes, you're going to want to click this on because it makes it better and easier for you and enables you to watch videos and music and so forth. Okay, so I click it on and I click, and now I'm going to hit continue. So now it's asking me. Now it says here, this computer currently has no detected operating system. What would you like to do? So this is a virtual machine that I created to install my Linux Mint on. Now, if you're installing this on your Windows computer, it's going to detect that you have Windows there, and it's going to give you the option at this point of installing Linux side by side with your Windows. So that way you'll be able to boot into Linux or boot into Windows. Or it's going to give you the option of wiping out your Windows and just making your computer a Linux computer. Okay? So like I said, this is a virtual machine, so I don't have any installation in this virtual machine. It's empty. So that's why it's saying this computer currently has no detected operating system. What would you like to do? Erase and install Linux Mint? Yes, of course. So I'm going to install now. Now it has advanced features. Let's click that on before we continue. So what I'm going to do is, you can just go ahead and install it, but I always recommend encrypting your hard drive, because when you encrypt a hard drive, it makes it a lot harder for someone to hack in. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to encrypt it. So I'm going to click Advanced Features. Use LVM with the new Linux Mint installation. So I'm going to click that on. Then it says encrypt a new Linux Mint installation for security. You would choose a security key in the next step. Okay. So I'm going to click that on. And I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to click Install Now. So it's asking me, so it's going to be encrypting the drive, and it's asking me for a password. And of course, you can click the I so you can see what password you're typing in. Now, with this encryption password, it has to be something that you're going to remember, because if you're installing Linux Mint on your bare metal computer, or I guess the same would go for, the same would apply for a virtual machine. If you're installing Linux Mint on your bare metal computer and you forget and if you encrypt the drive and you forget your encryption password, you'll never be able to get into your system. And if you don't have your personal stuff backed up, you're going to lose all your personal stuff. And the only thing you'll be able to do is, if you forget your encryption password, is to wipe out your drive, your hard drive, and reinstall Linux or Windows or whatever. Now, you won't be able to install Windows unless you have your key, right? So, well, actually you can. That's not true. You can install Windows without the key, but then you don't have full functionality. So, like I said, if you're going to encrypt a drive, make sure you use a password that you're never going to forget, or you'll be locked out of your system and you'll have to erase your hard drive and do a fresh install. Okay? So I'm going to put my password in, and I'm just going to put a simple password in because this is just a virtual machine I made for the video. Okay? Now it's asking me to put it back in again, and it's in. Okay? Now there's other options here where you can enable a recovery key. I'm not going to do any of that, but you can do it if you want. And it's telling you right here, warning, if you lose the security key, all data will be lost. Okay? So let's install now. Now, oh, there's another thing too. You could click this on. This overwrite the empty space. But if you do that, it's going to take a long time. Oh, and it's asking me to continue. So let's continue. So, oh, okay. Now it's going to Toronto. That's where I live, by the way. I'm going to click continue. Now it's asking for my name. Now you don't have to give your name. So I'm just going to type in Mensch. Okay. And your computer name, it's automatically throwing a name in there, but I'm going to change this. Okay, I'm going to delete that. I don't want that in there. I'm going to type in, let's call it Mint Video. Okay. And it's asking me for a user password for Mensch. So I'm going to give Mensch a user password. And it's telling me it's a short password. It's not a good password, but that's just for the video. Okay. I'm just putting a simple password in. And require my password to log in is automatically set there. I'm going to leave it there. Let's continue. Now you might be asking, why do you need to encrypt a drive with a password if your user has a password? Well, the thing is, if you don't encrypt your drive and you just have a user password, the thing is that I could take a thumb drive of Linux Mint, boot into your system, and have access to all your files. And as a matter of fact, I can take a thumb drive of Linux Mint and boot into a Windows 10 or 11 computer and have access to all your files. And how do I know that? Because I've done it many times. Now, I just did it with my own computers. I never really hacked into or broke into someone else's computer. But I did it to experiment. I can take a live version of Linux Mint on a thumb drive, a bootable, has to be bootable, and I can get into Windows 10 or 11 and I can access all your files, videos, spreadsheets, whatever. Now, I can also take a live version of Linux Mint on a thumb drive and I can hack into a Linux Mint computer or an Arch Linux computer or an MX Linux computer or a Manjaro computer. With that thumb drive, I can hack into, now I don't know if I could hack into an Apple computer because I've never owned an Apple computer. I've never used an Apple computer. I've never played with one. So that I don't know. But like I said, I could take a thumb drive and I can log in to a Linux computer or a Windows computer. Now, if your Linux computer is encrypted, I won't be able to hack into it. Because when I plug my thumb drive of Linux Mint in to your computer and I boot onto it and I try to access your files from your hard drive, it's going to ask me for the encryption password. So encrypting your drive is going to protect it from someone taking a thumb drive of a live version of Linux Mint or a live version of some other Linux and plugging it in and accessing your system. Okay, so that's why I have I encrypt a drive, I have an encryption password, and I also have a user password. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is this is probably going to take another 10 minutes or so. So I'm going to pause the video and come back when it's done. So don't go away, I'll be back. So the thing finished, it took about 10 minutes or so. And what you're going to do is, installation is finished. You can now continue testing Linux Mint, or you can restart your computer. So I'm going to restart. And at this point, you're going to remove your thumb drive from your hard drive. Now, you're going to remove your thumb drive from your hard drive, and you're going to hit enter. And it's going to boot into the system. And I'm going to make my full screen went away. So I'm going to bring back my full screen, and I encrypted the drive. So I'm going to type in my encryption password, and I'm going to type in my user password from Edge, and we're booting into our new installation of Linux Mint. Now there's a welcome menu, and you can click this on and read what it's telling you. And also, every time you boot up, it's going to show up. So I'm going to unclick it. If you unclick it, then this menu is not going to show up the next time you reboot your computer. Now my display is off because this is a virtual machine. So I'm going to click on the start menu. I'm going to type in display. I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to change this to 1360 by 768. But if you're doing this on a bare metal computer, you probably won't have to do this. Okay, there we go. Now, this has a dot here. That means that there's updates to do. So what I'm going to do is click it on, and I'm going to click on OK. And it's taking me, apply the update. Now it's asking me, do you want to switch to a local mirror? You don't have to do this, but I always do it. So I'm going to put my password in, and I'm going to switch to a local mirror. I'm going to change this top one to University of Waterloo. That's university in a town not too far from where I live. And I'm going to change the bottom one to the same university. Here it is here. Computer Science Club from the University of Waterloo. And I'm going to OK it. So it's just updating the cache. And you should always keep your computer up to date for security reasons. And that's what you're going to do. Now this ISO is from just over a month ago, so there shouldn't be too many updates to do. So the older the ISO is, the more updates it's going to be, right? Okay, so it's finished syncing my mirrors, that is. And I'm going to close it, and I'm going to apply the update. Well, it's asking for my password again. Oh, so here's the updates. So that's 36 updates to do. So let's just install the updates. And some of the updates are going to involve, well, don't worry about that. Put my password in. So one of the beautiful things about Linux Mint is when you're doing updates, it's going to tell you whether or not you need to reboot. So with Windows, whenever you do an update with Windows, you always have to reboot. With Linux, most updates you don't have to reboot. You can just do your update and continue using your system. But when the kernel is updated, you have to reboot. So Linux Mint, when you're doing your updates here, it's going to tell you at the end of the if you need to reboot. Now, if you don't need to reboot, it won't tell you anything. But if you do need to reboot, it's going to tell you. Okay, so I think this update is going to take maybe 10-15 minutes. So I'm going to pause the video and come back when it's done. And you know what? Let's just see if I can change the themes again. Well, I don't know if it's going to let me change the theme while I'm updating. Let's click on a dark theme. There we go, it works. Okay, I like the dark theme. How about that, eh? So it's updating. I'm going to pause the video and come back. So don't go away. Okay, so that update only took about 5 minutes. That was pretty fast. And that's because this ISO is only from a month ago. It's only a month old. And it's telling you reboot is required. Your system is up to date, but we have to reboot. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to click on the start menu. I'm going to click on this red button. And I'm going to restart. And I might just pause the video for a sec. Should I pause it? I don't know. So it's asking me for my encryption password. I'm going to put that in. Guess I won't pause it. Maybe I'll edit some of it out if it takes too long to boot up. And we're booting in to our brand new installation of Linux Mint that has been updated. And I'm just going to pause the video for a sec, maybe. And now we're at the login menu. So I'm going to type in my password. And you've got the eye there if you want to see it to make sure you're typing in the right password. And here we are. So what I want to do is click on the volume. I like my volume to be full blast. And then I'm going to click on the clock, date and time settings. Now, if you notice, the clock is no longer on universal time, because when we were on the live thumb drive, it was universal time. I'm going to change it from the 24-hour clock to display the date. So now the clock is showing it's Saturday, February 15th at 8:45 p.m. I like AM, PM. I don't like 24-hour clock. So I'm going to shut that. And what else am I going to do? I'm going to click on this. Now it's asking if I want to launch time shift. I don't use it. Time shift is a thing that saves your installation in an old state when you're doing an update. So in case something happens with the update, you can go back to the old state, but I don't use it. I never had problems with an update, but you can use it if you want. So I'm going to ignore the report. Okay. And now no problems were detected. The system is up to date. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this menu. I'm going to go to applets. I'm going to download. See that the cache, it's downloading. Okay. What I'm going to do is install the weather applet, because I love the Linux Mint weather applet. Okay. And I'm going to highlight this, and then I'm going to click on this arrow to download it, and I'm downloading it. Then I'm going to go back to manage. I'm going to click on manage. I'm going to highlight this weather app again. This is the second time I have to highlight the weather app. I'm going to hit the plus sign. And there it is. So you can see it's minus 6 degrees Celsius and it's cloudy. Let's turn it on. You can see it's minus 6. The winds are coming from the west at 31.5 kilometers per hour. Sunrise is at 7:14 a.m. Sunset is at 5:45 p.m. You can click this on and you can go and click on your hourly rates. You can see what the temperatures are going to be per hour. Okay. So that's the weather app. And what else am I going to do? I'm going to go to the software center now. Oh, before I go there, I'm going to go back into settings. I'm going to make this full screen. And what I'm going to do is scan down. And I'm going to click on this firewall. It's asking for my password. Put my password in. And I'm going to turn on. Now, it comes with the firewall installed, but it's turned off by default. So I'm going to turn it on. And now it's on. Okay. And the default is to deny all incoming and allow outgoing. Now I'm going to close that. And I'm going to turn on the power manager. I don't like my computers going to sleep. So I'm going to go never. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to the screensaver too. So up here is the screensaver, and I'm going to go to the screensaver, and it's set to 15 minutes by default. I'm just going to say never. I don't like the screensaver going on. I'm going to shut that off and shut that off. And now I'm going to go to the software center. So I don't know if you watched my other videos, or if you ever watched, I don't know if you've been watching the videos in this series, or if you've watched my older videos, but just in case you haven't, so of course we have Firefox installed. Firefox is installed by default. Okay, this is our file manager. Look how nice it looks. And you can change the color of these icons, but I'm not going to do that in this video because I don't want the video to be too long. Okay, so you have, videos, pictures, music, downloads, documents, and you can make more files. So you can make more folders, and you have the full suite of Office. This is your spreadsheet. And I already showed some of this, kind of a repeat from the last video I showed, where I showed you how to play with Linux Mint without installing it. Okay, now it kind of looks funny because we're on dark theme. Well, this is not working good with the dark theme, so let's change the dark theme. Let's turn the dark theme off. There we go. I think that looks better, eh? And let's shut that. There's your spreadsheet program. Okay, let's close that. Let's go to, oh, that's kind of ugly, eh? Let's go back to themes. Let's go to mixed. Oh, that's better. And let's go to Office. Let's go to our document writer. There's our LibreOffice document writer. Let's close it. Let's go to, now I'm going through this really fast because I don't want this video to be long. If you go to here, well, you have calculator. Go back down to accessories. Let's scan right down. We have a USB image writer and a USB stick formatter. So the image writer would be if you want to make another bootable thumb drive with another Linux distribution on it, you would use this. Okay, or you could use this to format it. I'm just going to show you a few more things. Let's go to the Software Center. I'm going to download one program. And you know what? I'm going to turn it back on to dark theme. I like the dark theme. The dark theme doesn't work good with LibreOffice though. Well, it does in my Arch Linux, but that's another story. So, and also here I saw you have, and you have two software centers in here as well. So just let me get to that. And here's your printers. I turn my dark theme back on. So we're in the software center, and let's type in Google. Let's say you want to install Google Chrome. I don't know why you would want to, but Google. And there's lots of different type of web browsers you can install, but let's install Google Chrome. You click it on, and let's click on install. Continue. And you can see here it's installing it. So I'm just going to pause the video and come back when it's done. Okay, and it's done. So now I'm going to close this. And I'm going to go to Internet. And there's Google Chrome. Let's open it up and see if it works. No, I don't want it to be default. And I don't want to send statistics. Jeez, I can't stand Google Chrome. But a lot of people like it. I don't think most Linux people like it. But if you're coming from Windows, maybe you want it. Don't sign in. And here we are. We're in Google Chrome. Let's see if I can get to Linux. Let's do Arch Linux. Let's do this one. Kernel.org. Let's see if we can get to linuxkernel.org. There we are. So we installed Google Chrome. Now there's another software in here. It's called Synaptic Package Manager. Let's go there. And I don't know where it is. Let's just type in Synaptic. There it is. This is the Debian package manager that comes with Linux Mint. So let's do a search for something. Let's do a search for OBS. OBS Studio is the recording program that I use to make my videos. And let's see if OBS is in here. I know it is, but let's try that again. Let's do OBS Studio. Here it is here. Right here, OBS Studio. So you could click Apply, click on this, mark for installation, mark it, and apply it. Let's apply it. And now we're downloading OBS Studio through the Synaptic Package Manager. Now we could have downloaded and installed OBS Studio in the regular Linux Mint package manager, but I just wanted to show you that there's two package managers to install things in Linux Mint. There's the Linux Mint package manager and there's OBS Studio, and I just wanted to show you this. Oh, and we're done. So let's close that, and let's close this. Let's close it. Let's get out of there. Okay, so let's see if OBS Studio opens up. I'm not sure what menu it's in, so let's just do OBS. There it is. And we're opening up OBS Studio. And there it is. There's OBS Studio. Now let's just go back to the other package manager, the Linux Mint package manager. It's a little prettier, because I just want to show you something. And then I'm going to close the video. So now we're in the Linux Mint software manager, and let's just type in OBS. Oops, OBS. So we could have installed OBS from here, but I just wanted to show you how the Synaptic Package Manager works. So we can see here OBS Studio. See, there's a green check mark. I know it's kind of dark because I have the dark theme on, but we can see it's installed. And we could have installed it from here. See, it's installed, and it gives us the option we could remove the package from here. Even though we installed it in the Synaptic package manager, we can remove it from here. So I just wanted you to see that. And another thing too, I'm going to go back into the Synaptic package manager for a sec. It's going to ask me for my password. I'm going to put my password in because my face was hiding something. I didn't realize it. So when you're doing a search, here's the search field. We're going to type on the search field, and then we're going to type in what we're looking for. Okay. And there it is there, Firefox. Okay. And really, you can just use this one. You can just use this package manager, really. I think this package manager is a little prettier and more easier to use. There's a VirtualBox. You can use that for doing virtual machines. I use Virt Manager. So let's type in and see if Virt Manager is available. There it is there, Virt Manager. Virt Manager is the one I use. There's also, like I showed you, VirtualBox. But I like Virt Manager. You can install it and make virtual machines in your system. Now, there's a lot more that I like to do in Linux Mint, but this video has gone on too long already. Okay? And that's it. In this video, I showed you how to install Linux Mint, how to update it, how to make a few changes in it, how to install the weather app, and how to install Google Chrome and OBS Studio. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I am the Linux Mensch.